Om. Om. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunatu Saha Veeryam Karavavakai Tejasvinavaditastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Nati Shanti Shanti. Om Chaturnamakaya Suryakodi Saprabha Nirvignam Kume Deva Sarvakarishu Sarda. Om Sajana Kalyani Nidam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Viparam. Om Shri Chinmaya Gurave Namaha. Om Radhami Hriti Samspurtatvam Sajit Sugam Paramam Bhaktin Turiyam Yasonagara Sushoptamai Nityam Brahmanishkamam Chakura Sankaham Pradarbhajami Manasa Vacha Samagamyam Vacho Vibhanti Nikilaya Tagrahena Yennedi Nedi Vanirnikamavavucho Sandeva Devamahuragram Pradharnamami Tamasaparam Purnam Sadanapadam Purushotamakyam Yasminnitam Jayashamacheshamo Rajungamai Bhavasite. Pranasedam Pachesaram Prativeya Pratishtitam Ateva Putran Jakshas Srinya Prajnancha Viteyanati.
Hello, Sukumaji, are you there? Or
1 and 2 deep meditation.
Yeah. This time now.
I think Samadhi is freeze away.
Hari Om?
I think freeze हो गया.
Sharda Stotra. Namaste Sharadevi Puravasini Aham Prarthaye Nityam Vyadanam Chadehimi Ya Shraddha Dharana Metha Vagdevi Vidhi Vallabham Bhakta Jihvagra Sadana Shamadhi Gunadayini Namami Yaminim Natha Lekhalankritakuntalam Bhavanim Bhavasantapa Nirvapana Sudhanati Bhadrakalye Namo Nityam Saraswati Namo Namaha Veda Vedanka Vedanta Vidyasthanebhya eva cha Brahmaswarupa Parama Jyotirupa Sanatani Sarva Vidyadi Deviya Tasyai Vani Namo Namaha Yaya Vina Jagat Sarvam Shashvat Jivan Mritam Bhavet Jnanadhideviya Tasyai Saraswatyai Namo Namaha Yaya Vina Jagat Sarvam Mugamunakta Ya Devi Vagadhishtatri Tasyai Vanyai Namo Namaha Ya Devi Vagadhishtatri Tasyai Vanyai Namo Namaha. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum lingayate kritim yaskripātamaham vande paramananda madhavam yam brahma varunendra rudra marutaha stunvandi divyastave vedai sankapada Upanishade Gayantiyam Samaga Dhyanavastita Tatgadena Manasa Pashyantiyam Yoginu Yasyantam Navidusura Suragana Devaya Tasmai Namaha Sarvadharman Paritejya Amegam Charanam Pracha Aham Tva Sarva Papibhyo Mokshayisyami Ma Shuchaha. Slokas 10 to 20. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Shri Krishna Paramatmane Namaha. Adha Saptamodhyayah. Jnana Vijnana Yogaha. Shri Bhagavanuvacha. Bijam Mam Sarva Bhutana. Vidhi Partha Sanatanam. Buddhir Buddhimadam Tejas Tejasvinamaham Balam Balavatam Chaham Kamaraga Vivarjitam Dharmo Viruddho Bhuteshu Kamosmi Bharadarshabham Yachaiva Tatvika Bhavaha Rajasastamasaschaye Makta evedi tam vidhi न त्वहं तेषु ते मयि त्रिभिर्गुणमयैर्भावैः येभिः सर्वमिदं जगत् मोहितं नाभिजानाति मामेभ्य परमव्ययं दैवी एषा गुणमयी मम माया दुरत्यया मामेव ये प्रपद्यन्ते मायामेतां तरन्ति ते न मां दुष्कृतिनो मूढाः प्रपद्यन्ते नराधमाः माययापहृतज्ञानाः आसुरं भावमाश्रिताः चतुर्विधा भजन्ते मां जनाः सुहृदिनोऽर्जुन आर्तो जिज्ञासुरर्थार्थी ज्ञानी च भरतर्षभ तेषां ज्ञानी नित्ययुक्तः एकभक्तिर्विशिष्यते प्रिया हि ज्ञानिनोत्यर्थम् अहं स च मम प्रियः उदारा सर्व एवेते ज्ञानी त्वात्मैव मे मतम् आस्तिदः स हि युक्तात्मा ममेवामानुत्तमां गतिम् बहूनां जन्मनामन्ते ज्ञानवान् मां प्रपद्यते वासुदेवः सर्वमिति समहात्मा सुदुर्लभः कामैस्तैर्हृदज्ञानाः प्रपद्यन्तेऽन्यदेवताः तं तं नियममास्थाय प्रकृत्या नियता स्वया ॐ तत्सत्
Hari Om. Hari Om, Guruji, can you just do a small recap of the last week's verses?
You Manichi, 1 minute. Hari Om. Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
त्रिभिर्गुणमय्यर्भायव येभिः सर्वमिदं जगत् मोहितं नाभिजानाति मां येभ्य परं अव्ययम् 3b by 3 Gunamayai, composed of gunas. Pavai, by nature. Yebif,
Hari Om, Guruji, you have to just recap what was discussed last week. You don't have to read the entire verse or anything. Just a brief recapitulation of what was discussed last week.
this is 13-14, right?
No, it was 7th to 9th, no, verses last week.
But in the
7th to 9th verses of chapter 7 is.
but it is mentioned in the text. It is 13-14. That's what I was. In our WhatsApp group. Recap of the previous week, 13-14.
No, sir, it is 7:13 to 7:14. That's the 2 minutes allotted to you.
Manichi, apologies, but
It's okay. It's okay. We will move on with the class. Dilip ji, you can start for this week's verses.
Hari Om. Chapter 7, 10 slokas 10 and 11. Bijam mam sarva bhudanam vidhi partha sanatanam buddhivanam asmi tejasvi jasvinamaham. Bijam, seed. Mam, me. Sarva bhudanam, of all beings. Vidhi, no. Partha, O Partha. Sanatanam, eternal. Buddhi, intelligence. Buddhimadam, of the intelligent. Asmi, I am. Teja, splendor. Tejasvinam, of the splendid. Aham, I. Know me, O Partha, as the eternal seed of all beings. I am the intelligence of the intelligent, the splendor of the splendid things and beings. Am I. Not satisfied with above enumeration, which can truly indicate its full significances only to those who have a fairly good amount of subtle knowledge, subtle intelligence. The Lord is compelled to indicate the same truth through some other more obvious examples. He says in the stanza, I am the ancient seed of all beings. Not satisfied again with this statement, as an artist would mix more colors afresh and paint again and again to bring out his theme more vividly to the perception of the onlookers, Bhagavan here gives two more beautiful instances by which we can get an insight into the relationship between the gross perceivable matter and the imperceptible spirit. I am the intellect of the intelligent. The intelligent man constantly expresses a greater amount of divinity in his thoughts and ideas. In that intelligent man, the self is the intelligence, that subtle power because of which the individual is capable of manifesting such brilliant intelligence. Similarly, it is also said that the self is that which beams out through the beautiful and the energetic. In other words, through the instrument of our intellect, it is the consciousness in us that expresses itself as an intelligent individual. As a parallel, we can say that electricity is the light in the bulb, is the heat in the heater, is the music in the radio. Yet another example is given in the following. Belam belavadam asmi kamaraga vivarjidam dharma viruddho bhudeshu kamosmid bharadashabha. Belam, strength. Belavadam, of the strong. Asmi, I am. Kamaraga vivarjidam, devoid of desire and attachment. Dharma viruddha, unopposed to dharma. Bhudeshu, in beings. Kamaha, desire. Bharadashaba, O Lord of Bharadas. Asmi, I am. Of the strong, I am the strength. Devoid of desire and attachment, and in all beings, I am the desire, unopposed to dharma, O best among the Bharadas. Having thus served with the different examples, the seekers of the average intelligence and the dullest, here in this stanza, the Lord is trying to indicate the eternal self to the most intelligent students who have the capacity to do subtle reflection upon such philosophical ideologies. I am the strength in the strong. This statement is evidently as easy of comprehension as the example given in the previous stanza. But the statement outshines the above set of examples when here Krishna gives the phrase qualifying Balam. Generally, an individual expresses his might and strength only when he is guarded by his desires or attachments. Without these two inner urgencies, it is impossible for us to see any expression of might or strength. Desire, kama, and attachment, raga, are generally considered by students of the Vedic literature as almost synonyms. But Shankara, in his commentary, has very thoughtfully given us the distinction between these two powerful impulses. He says, Kama is desire for what is absent at present in the scheme of our life, and raga is affection for what one has obtained. These are the two emotions lashed up by which individuals or communities or societies or nations generally come to express their might and strength. Velam. Riots and agitations, battles and wars are all ever motivated by these two sources. In the subtle definition of the self, the Lord here brings a new line of thought for the contemplation of the seeker. He says, the self is not merely the strength in the strong, but I am the strength devoid of desire and attachment. As though not satisfied with his own definition, the Lord gives yet another example. I am desire in the beings unopposed to dharma. We have already explained the term dharma as the law of being. Essential factor in man is the divine consciousness. All actions, thoughts, and ideas entertained by him, which are not opposed to the essence of his divine nature, constitute his dharma. All actions and thoughts and ideas entertained by him, which are not opposed to the essence of his divine nature, constitute his dharma. All actions and thoughts that hasten the evolution of man to rediscover his essential divine nature are considered righteous actions, while all activities of the mind and intellect that take him away from his true divine nature and make him behave as though he was an animal and degrade him in his evolutionary status are called unrighteous behavior. With this understanding of the term dharma, the second line of the stanza becomes very clear. All desires that are not unrighteous for the being means, therefore, the glorious urge in the evolvers to meet courageously their own inner weaknesses and bring out a complete consummation of their evolutionary urge to seek and to discover the goal of self-perfection. This is the subtle power that is indicated here. The Lord says that I am not the sadhak, but I am in him. His burning aspiration to discover and become one with the immutable self. By the above example, does it mean that spirit has been really captured and jailed in by that matter? How can the limited limit the unlimited? That will be explained in the next two slokas. Here, in this sloka 10, Bijam mam sarvabhudana vidhivarta sanatanam buddhir buddhimadamasti tejasvinam. The Lord here clearly reveals that he is Bijam mama sarva bodhanam. In whatever existence, whether it is living or non-living, he is part of that. He is the root of that creation. Whether it's a stone, whether it is a tree, whether it is a living animal, human being, whatever it is, he is the root of that. Even for if you take rice also, he is part of that. He is the root of that. And original seed of all existence. Whatever you see, you should be able to identify that the origin of that is from Lord himself. Gurudev has clearly, very elaborately as well as easily understandable way, he has explained that how electricity is playing duality means is in different roles in different equipments. Like if you are taking air conditioner, you can see the electricity, because of the electricity, chilled air is coming out of that. And heater, in heater, the heat is generated through electricity. And music in the radio or any other music equipments, music instruments, you can see. I use equipments. I thought of Gurudev again. Equipment is the plural. Okay. Instruments, music is generated through the electricity. So electricity is the bijam. Electricity is the root of all this, whether it is music, whether it is heat, whether it is cold, All these are generated through the electricity, or without electricity, nothing works. Similarly, you have to see the whole creation, the whole what you call universe. Universe is embedded with Mijam Mama Sarvanam. The Lord's identity is embedded in that. Then the next sloga, Belam Belavadam Asmi Kamaraga Vivarjidam Dharma Viruddha Bhudeshu Kamosmi Bharadashaba. In the other, in this text, it is Belam Belavadam Asmi. The other one, it is saying Cha Aham. Both are same. Asmin and Chaham is same in Sanskrit. Here again, what Lord Krishna is devoid of passion and attachment. This is the essence of this verse, where Gurudeva has again clearly mentioned about various factors involved in this. The intelligent person who consider that is intelligent, it is because of the intelligence embedded, the Lord's presence in him, divinity presence in him, he is able to express better than others. And the more you to achieve this kind of divinity or power or strength or intelligence, what we have to do is we have to continuously practice spirituality. Whatever reasons, whatever objects, whatever resistance we are facing in our day-to-day life, we have to continuously practice spirituality and elevate ourselves and evolve ourselves to the divine power existing, to exhibit our divine power existing in our self. Hari Om. This is what I could understand from these two verses. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Thank you, Dilip. We'll start the discussion now. We'll start with Nanduji. Are you available?
Hari Om. Apologies for not attending a couple of classes. I was traveling in India. So the today's discussion for the Shloka 7, 10 and 11, just as per my understanding, little background on the Shloka from 7 chapter 8 to 12, it is little bit like introduction of the Vibhuti Yoga. And in Vibhuti Yoga, Bhagavan is mentioning like where Bhagavan is there. And it is clearly mentioned where I am. And I think that this is just like an introduction for that. And there is another word is coming in the like a achur. So like living, non-living, everywhere that Bhagavan is mentioning, I am everywhere. I'm there. And similarly, there is like in 15th shloka, we have very familiar with one shloka which covered like Aham Vaishwanaro. So Bhagavan is trying to say in each and every place I am there. And Naneshwar Maharaj is having one OV on this part, which is like Ervi Sarvancha Hruday Deshi, Ji Vastu Spure Aharnishi, Ti Vastu Gami. Means in each and every animal, like just take maybe example of like a cat or maybe dog, maybe bark in dog, that is part of Bhagavan. Like a cat, voice of cat, or maybe all of us like human beings and all that. Everything is from the Lord itself. And when Upanishad like Shanti Mantra says about like Om Purnamada Purnamidam, which is like from there itself everyone originated and everything is going to start within that itself. And that is the Vapaka of like a Brahman. So which is like above the like Prakriti and whatever. So that is the base and from where all these things are originated. Are you? Jai Gurudev.
Hari Om. We'll move to Bhuvanji.
Hari Om Manish ji. Hari Om to all. Sadguru Maharaj ki jai. Today's shloka are one of the very beautiful shlokas and they're also perplexing. So I'm gonna today ask questions to myself to understand the shloka and then try and figure out the answer by Gurudev's commentary and what the other Mahatmas have said. So the shloka goes, Bijam mam sarvbhutanam vidhi partha sanatanam buddhir buddhimatam asmi tejas tejasvanam maham. Bijam. Now God says, I am the seed among all the beings. Now it's very clear the Lord is seed, but the problem is the seed is also, so seeds, what is the seed's purpose? Seeds become the tree, and then the tree gets destroyed, and so the seed gets destroyed. But how can be the God who is the seed who will get destroyed? So Lord says in the chapter 9, in the 18th shloka, Aham prabhava pralayah sthanam nidhanam bijam avyayam. So God is not the Nashvar beach. God is not the beach which can be destroyed. God is the Avyaya beach which cannot be spent. He is the Avyaya. So that is now clear. And God has used word Parth here. Now Arjuna has been called as Prithanandan, as a Parth. Now where Parth means who is son of Prithvi, Earth. We are all son of Earth. But now here God is explaining to him that even you are beyond that. So God is saying that I am beyond it. Basically, we all are have come from the earth and the body will go back to earth, but are we that? We are not. So we are above that. That's why God would have probably used the word partha here. That's what my understanding is. Now the shloka goes, buddhir buddhimatam asmi tejas tejasvana maham. Now a very important understanding here, which we I think all have to understand, that whatever the intelligence I have, whatever the intelligence I have, so whoever has started this study circle 1990s, that intelligence in him is Lord himself. So whatever the brilliance we are able to show, whatever the splendor we are able to show, it is all is his. It is all the God. That essence in us is Lord. So also in the 14th chapter, coming to the beach, now God also says that Aham bija pradah pita. Now the question why I'm referring this here, that seed could also be referred for Jivatma. In Bhagavad Gita, seed has been referred as Jivatma and Lord interchangeably. But here in this shloka, it is referred as the Lord. But in the shloka number 4 in the 14th chapter, God has referred the bees as Jivatma. So one should not get confused. Now I'll move to the next shloka. Now God says, Balam balvatam asmi kama raga vivarjitam dharma viruddho bhuteshu kamosmi bhartarshabha. Now God has called Arjun with the name Bhartarshabha, who is the greatest among the Bharata, who is the Lord of Bharata. Now here in this shloka, God is giving one of the highest knowledge to Arjuna, and that's why he has referred him as the Lord of Bharata. Now what is the highest knowledge? God is saying, I am the strength of the strong. Now I am the strength of the strong. So now I can, if I am strong, I can go and destroy everybody and say, God is the strength. I am not destroying you. I am not hitting you. It is God, you are hitting me. So for that, God has given a special attachment to this. Kama raga vivarjitam. No. Don't misunderstand me. I am your strength of the strong, but one who is devoid of the Kam and Rag. Now, what is Kama and Rag? Now, Adi Shankaracharya ji has given a very beautiful understanding of Kama and Rag, and let me read. So, whatever desire which is absent at present in the scheme of our life is Kamana, is Kam. And whatever we have obtained and the affection we have for is called Raga. Now, these are the two emotions. Without this, the worldly strength is not been expressed. So people who do rights, who gets agitated, and battles and wars, all these are motivated by these two emotions, the raga and kam. So God says, no, I am not that bal. I am the bal, I am the strength, which is kam, raga, vivarjitam. Now, what is the problem with kam and rag? Because they are bonding us. They are taking us to the lower nature of us and that cannot liberate us. So God says, I am the strength which is not binding us. Now, the second line of the shloka says, Dharma viruddho bhuteshu kamu asmi bhartarshava. Now, Bhagavan says, I am the desire which is not against the dharma. Now, what is not against the dharma? Which is following the essential nature. Now, what is the essential nature? So, I have come here as perfect. I have come here as the God Himself. But what happened? I find myself weak. And once I find myself weak, to realize myself, I get married. But do I get married and say Bhog Patni or a Bhog Pati? No, I say Dharma Patni. So what are the fourth Purusharth of this birth? The fourth Purusharth of this birth are Dharma, Artha, Kam, Moksha, in that order. So for whatever money I earn for the Dharma, it is okay. That is what God says, that's fine. But if I am possessing any wealth which from the wrong means, not absolutely not okay. So in my understanding, the this kamna which has been mentioned here, because God also says in the chapter 4 that kam is the seed for all the papa. The kamna itself is very evil for all, and it is basically the reason for all the sin. But here, this kam has been represented for dharma. It is represented for following the grahastha ashram. And what happens even after getting married, I'm still finding myself weak, and now further I need a child, and even that is fine. And that child is again the Lord's root. And if we see in Hindu dharma, in Sanatana dharma, the Mukhagni is given by the sun. So the very clear understanding God has mentioned in this shloka is that anything which is following the law of dharma, in that case, I am the kama in you, Bhartarshava. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Yes, next. Arunji, would you like to share your views?
No, no, Ministry, I'm not talking today. Hari Om.
Okay, Hari Om. Vithalji.
Hari Om. Om Chinmaya Sadguruve Namaha. More or less, what I wanted to say is covered by Bhuvanji, but quick couple of things which I wanted to add, which I learned is Adi Shankaracharya's words which were there explained that Kama is the desire for what is absent at present in a scheme of life, and Raga is affection for what one has obtained. So that attachment is Raga. That is one beautiful take for me. The other thing is about the explanation of Balam. Balam with Kama and Raga is asuric by nature. It's because it is not pure, and the bhoga vritti is there. You know, for the enjoyment's sake, those things are desired. So bhoga being the bijam, it becomes a papam. So because primarily it lacks dharma. And what is dharma? Basically, dharma in broader sense is that Veda Vihita Karmam is what it is, and Veda Nishiddha Karmam is adharma. So anything that is the Shastras, you walk as per the Shastras, that is dharma. And what is the outcome? So again, we're looking at we are in that portion of Gita where we are looking at the cause and the effect. Yeah, so what will happen if you walk on the path of dharma? You get your karma phalam. So and it is synonymally very used very oftenly, that karma is dharma, dharma is karma. But what is the outcome of this? It is the punyam, which cannot be earned with, I think, by any means, by in this human birth, but by doing what the Shastras prescribe. The punyam can be obtained only by doing that, and anything that you do against that is what you end up collecting as papam. So that was my understanding of this. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Sureshji, would you like to share your view before you leave? I think he's already left. Come, Meenakshi ji.
Hari Om, Manishi. So this whole chapter, so the following verses, the last 4 verses, they are indicating Lord. So they're giving pointers on how the Lord is, or it's indicators that it's following in a direction wherein they're giving indicators. So if we have read in the art of man making, Gurudev has ended the art of man making by saying, after this 2 shlokas, he's mentioned that in the last 4 verses, we have 14 indications which point out the state of pure awareness. None of them define the truth, but they are all arrow marks pointing towards this one truth. So it's not as simple as the sapidity in water, the radiance in moon and sun, Om in Vedas, the sound in space, the manhood in men, the fragrance in earth, the heat in fire, the life in all beings, the tapas and ascetics, the eternal seed of all beings, as it is mentioned in this verse, the intelligence of the intellect, the heroism in the heroes, the strength in the strong, the desire which is unopposed to dharma in all beings. So it's not as easy, because as Gurudev has mentioned, that these verses have to be meditated on. These are 14 exercises in meditation. How deep these verses can be, we can find out from this last stanza, which Gurudev has mentioned. But for a very, at a very superficial level, on the verse 10th, it talks about the fact that, if we have heard Gurudev's Gita Yajna, Gurudev has mentioned that the Lord is the seed. He's the seed of the entire universe. So he has mentioned it in a very funny manner, saying that when the last thought came, just half an hour before that. So 0 time, just 1 minute before that. So it's quite funny, but it is beyond the contemplation, beyond our understanding as to what Lord can be or is. That's there. And then the next verse, it talks about, as the verses flow down, the pointers become grosser and grosser, so that we understand it in whatever way we can understand. So Gurudev has mentioned in the Gita Yajna that life, Lord has mentioned that he's the intellect in the intelligence. Sorry, he's the intelligence in the intellect that entertains thought. So he's given an example of flower and beauty, the splendor in the splendid. So the flower and beauty. So the flower is different and the beauty is different. There's a difference between the flower and beauty. So because without you can't locate where the beauty is in the flower. It's just there if you combine everything together, the fragrance and the beauty and the atmosphere, everything, then that beauty stands up. But it is away, it is different. It's a very subtle point, but it's different from the beauty. The intellect, it's different, it's inert. The intelligence which shines forth, it is what Lord is talking about. So he gives examples in such a way that strength is the strength in the strong. Then he's mentioned that the strength in the Hitler and Ravana, are they also Narayana? And he's mentioned that there was a time when Hitler was even more popular than Jesus. But how many people remember him? Hitler, Mao, Stalin, how many people do even remember him? There's a different fragrance which comes out of Jesus or from Buddha. It's even after so many years, people remember him and not the Hitler or the Ravana or anybody else. And then Lord also says that he is the Bala, he's the strength, which is, so he said that I'm the strength from the mind, which is without Kam and Krodha. So he is the strength, but he's very carefully discriminated it that he's the strength which is not identified with Kam and Krodha. That's it. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Subhuji.
Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. I think a lot of the point I wanted to discuss was from the Gurudev's commentary only. I think Meenakshi nicely explained that. Yeah, I think for me, this journey of understanding that Tat, that is the higher nature, as was pointed out. So Gurudev has taken a lot of pains in his yajna, if you notice, about even to understand what is God. It goes back to that time definition, which is very nice, because it says it's Sanatana is most ancient. So you can't really fix a time when the God came into existence, because the God is the creator of the time itself. So we need to, there is a lot to contemplate on this exemplars. And also, if you go through this Yajna commentary by Gurudev, he stresses the point, he says, I am the intelligence, he stresses in the, and also says in the intellect. So we need to understand those subtle differences. Otherwise, contemplating on this verse will become difficult for a, seeker like me. And also the second shloka, it is all about, the strength, Ravana also had the strength. But the thing is, Gurudev nicely says that strength kind of has that common desire. The expression comes out as a devil, not as a God. So we can understand ourselves, put ourselves in that shoes, to understand why our behaviors are like that. Because if our essential nature is God, but the way it comes out from us is in a different way, the reason is because of this the desires and the kama and ragas and all that. So that's my I'm still doing a lot of contemplation or introspection on these verses. Hari Om. Thank you.
Hari Om. Sharma ji, you are there? Yes. Jairam
Hello,
ji?
Marishi, I'll not you carry on.
Okay, you are in office.
No, I'm in home only. I'll just go through that. अगर होगा तो मैं बाद में आपको बताऊंगा if I'm going to speak. ठीक है?
ठीक है.
Thank you.
जी. Jairam ji?
Sorry,
Jairam ji?
Marishi, I'm on phone.
Okay. Anybody else who would like to contribute, who's prepared? I'm sorry, but number of people. Anand Suryavanshi ji, would you like to talk? This. Hello? How do you?
Hari Om, I can speak some 2 lines on this thing.
Okay, you want to speak or you will speak some other time? That's for you.
No, I want to speak now.
Okay, please go ahead.
Okay. So in the Adyay 7, Shlok number 10, it says, O Arjun, know that I am the eternal seed of all beings. I am the intellect of the intelligent and the splendor of the glorious. So anything that exists is because manifestation of God's energy. And we used to see this in our culture where the most brilliant works of arts and craft, they were not attributed by the author in their name, but rather they were devoted to God. And I came up across this shlok where sage Tulsidas says, "Na मैं किया ना करी सकूं, साहिब करता मोर करता करावत आप है, tulsi tulsi सोर." Neither did I write the Ramayana, nor do I have the ability to write it. The Lord is my doer. He directs my actions and acts through me, but the world thinks that Tulsidas is doing them. So our greats used to follow this, exactly what is told in this shlok. That's all I wanted to say. Hari Om.
Hari Om, Anandji. Sharing a couple of my thoughts around this shloka, I think it has been very well explained by many of us. From the perspective of the Gita, what has been written in it, and especially the first part of it, which is talking about the seed and the intelligence, the splendor, that is all the Lord's different ways of expressing. And we can see that, and I was just comparing it with the Gurudev. So I was just looking at it that whatever has been written here is so well fixes within his, personality. If you are listening to him or if you have seen his videos, you will realize that, all these qualities are really just, getting exemplified in him. When he's talking, when he's explaining Gita, it just is there. And if you look at it, the mission, the Chinmaya mission itself, which he has built up, is like, taking us always towards the path of righteous and removing all whatever is unrighteous, guiding us in the right direction. So this is all, along with the way it is should be, the way we should be performing our dharma. And anything which is unrighteous is not a part of this mission. So from just a practical understanding, whatever we do, whatever videos we get, whatever things we read from Chinmaya mission, they all take us onto the path of the righteous. It could be a very small thing. So it was just an coincidence. And I was also comparing it like with just Ramayana. So this also in the Sundarkand part, there is this instance of when Hanumanji meets Vibhishan, so there is a small verse couplet that Ab bharosa Hanumanta, bina, without the grace of divine, you will not meet the saint. So that is the power that, if you have the grace, if the divine has, uh, imparted the grace on you, then only you will be able to meet the saint. And that is what we should be all thankful about, that we are as somewhere associated with Chinmaya mission and, going forward. So this is how I could just correlate it, that how it, comes out in through our life. This coming and discussing all this in the morning on Saturday itself. This itself is a great kind of a blessing from the God. This is what I wanted to say. Hari Om. We'll move forward with the discussion.
Madhusudhan, can I say a few words if you don't mind?
Yeah, Hari Om, please go ahead.
Hari Om, Hari Om. I suppose not many of you might be knowing, except Balaji sir and Shubhuji and Sudhir, were part of the study group. And it was by chance that I came across Balaji sir, and then he was talking about the study group, and then a few of the individuals who would gather and discuss. So coming back upon this particular chapter, where Arjuna tries to use the highest knowledge to Krishna tries to give the highest knowledge to Arjuna by explaining to him his nature, that about the lower nature and the higher nature, the five great elements, the earth, air, water, fire, space, all names and form, which are the creation, the part of all the creation that we see, including the body, mind, and ego. All these are his lower nature. And other than all this, is his higher nature. So he's building up on that topic to know what the question which everyone has. Even I had as a child from the childhood, this question: who is God, and why there are misery in the world that prevails in this? If he's there, why can't he solve this problem? So through this, in fact, through this discourse, every Saturday discussion, and also listening to Gurudev's video, to some extent, I'm able to grasp those things. And this chapter, particular chapter, is delving more into his nature and who is he. So, like in the previous slokas where he spoke about and separated in water, radiance in the moon, sound in the space, Om in the Veda, brilliance in fire. All this basically it is trying to say that I'm the very essence of all being. So further expanding on the intelligence and intelligence of splendor in the splendid. And the most important, which I liked, was probably the user and the strength in the strong. And probably this, in his, I think, video, he said that Arjuna being the Kshatriya and this, and he could easily grasp, because he was trying to give various examples about his basic essence, that he resides in each and everything, and the purest form of everything is him. So the unpure part of the anything is not him. So even in us, like he resides, it's beside body, mind, and intellect. If you exclude all this part, then what remains is in the consciousness. So it's trying to bring us to reflect when we are trying to, and that reflection, and once you get to the deepest of the understanding, you will merge and reach it. So Krishna is trying to gather Arjuna's thought in basically all of us, the seekers who are trying to understand him, these questions which every sadhaka has, or every individual has. So so what kind of strength it is? It is a strength which is devoid of desire and attachment, and that is very important line, that it is which, and it is this desire and attachment was what is the cause of all our wrongdoings, which diverts us from knowing self. So giving the example of further, I think in the video he spoke about, even Meenakshi also spoke, that his strength is there. Okay, the strength of, is he there in the strength of Duryodhana or Hitler? But they used the strength in the wrong way, for desire and attachment for that purpose. But if it is devoid of that, like which giving further example of Jesus or all the great Mahatmas, this, they are devoid of all this strength. So although Jesus has been crucified on the cross, even at the end of it, he had this. He asked the Lord or Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. So this is the kind of strength, in spite of being crucified, you still forgive the person. So when we what does this chapter is trying to say is that we need to reflect and get into the purer form of ourselves, purer version of ourselves. And we all know that our vasana, which is accumulated from all the previous life or even this current, is what is taking us away from self or from him. So we need to reflect on this part very strongly, that is desire and attachment, and how we can purify ourselves should be our question each sadhaka should ask, because that is where he says, I'm the desire, I'm not the sadhaka, but I'm the burning aspiration. So that is the burning aspiration is what we should kindle in us and try to follow the path of Dharma, which all religion of the world talks about, the path of righteousness or good deed, good word, good thoughts, as is in Zoroastrian. So all these are the path which is prescribed in every religion of the world. I feel okay. Everybody is at different level of evolution, so one need to find its own mantra as to how one can purify self, purify or purgate vasana. So you can use simple mantra like from Jesus' teaching. I find two of his strong words, which is forgiveness, forgive and forget, and second is love everyone, love all. So if moment you do this, your all this hatred and all those negative vices, the moment you love, you become humble and humility in yours grow. So as with the love, you love everybody despite of whatever hurt or wrong he does. If you still love that person and you practice on a day-to-day life, that could be one of the mantras. If everyone can have any of the mantras which can take them to this path of righteousness, which is a constant reminder. You can take it as something which you find, some line you find, which can help you to, and which connects with you strongly. Basically, it should connect with you strongly because each person is at different level of evolution. So not that same mantra will apply to everybody, each and every. So one need to reflect as we talk about this strength in the strong and how to get rid of this desire and attachment. We need to find some mantra which will help us to be the strength and be the part of him and reflect and overcome all these desires and attachment and finally forget vasana, which once we are at the purest form, that would be the last stage when you would be closer, like which all Gurudev and all the saints of the world have reached. And that would be the where, that should be the goal of every sadhaka, every seeker. That's all my small reflection for you. Thank you.
Hariom.
Yes, Jaran.
I mean, sorry, there was a small electrical issue at home, which reminds me Gurudev's explanation on this verse about electricity.
जयराम जी हरिओम, जंगल में बैठे हो क्या आप?
That is something. Okay, so the incident is that electricity available everywhere, but depending the bulb or heater or cooler, everything works on electricity. That was as explained by our Dilip ji. Now here there was an electrical problem and particular equipment was not working, and I was asked to assist. That was the time he had called up. So the issue was due to poor connectivity. There was a lot of oxidization and the equipment is not working. So this is, I'm trying to connect it with the divine in us, but due to our desire and attachment. That means kama and raga. We are unable to connect with our divinity in full potential. That is the essence of these two stanzas, whereas Lord is trying to give more and more explanation through various examples, that how our higher nature and lower nature sort of a disconnect, and we have to improve that. The remedy is remove this raga and deshva from our life, and we start get the full brightness of that divinity in our life. Because like the seed has the potential of the tree, and it is manifest as it grows. Similarly, the mud is the essence. All the mud pots that we see is nothing but mud alone. A piece of cloth we see is nothing but the thread in it. The warp and weft of the thread is essentially the cloth. If you remove one by one, whereas it is easily given examples through that woolen bundle of a wool, which was made into a sweater. When you pull out all that, it again becomes a bundle of wool only. These are the few examples which makes it easy to understand the presence of Lord, and everything comes from Him and Him alone. That's it. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Sharma ji.
Hari Om. See, the key to this and Sampurna Adyay, the first two shlok itself he's given, Or if you go to the last shlok of the last Adyay, the sixth one, he ends with the Sampurna Yogi mein jo bhi Shraddhavan Yogi, whichever Yogi Shraddhavan, जो मुझ में लगे अंतरात्मा से मुझको अंदर बसता है. So what kind of a yogi and what he needs to do, भगवान आगे बताते हैं करके, And the first श्लोक itself, मैं आसक्त मनाः पार्थ योगम युज्यन्म आश्रयः असंशयम समग्रम मा यथा ज्ञासु तत्शृणु. मतलब भगवान is giving with guarantee कि असंशयम, without any doubt, how you will get that jnana, listen to me. And again, the next slok is, after getting this jnana, you need not know anything else. कुछ भी जानने योग रहता नहीं है. And then it goes. And then the third slok is very, very important, which we need to keep on ask ourselves. Are we the one, which Bhagavan is saying? Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschidati siddhe yatatam api siddhanam kaschin mam veti tatvatah. Out of thousands of people, some people try to reach him. Out of those people, out of those yogi also, koi ek mujhko parayan, out of them, one of them will, get me. Like Guruji got. So we have a Sampurna Guru Parampara where Guruji, those reverend Gurujis have achieved him. They have got that knowledge, and we have been fortunate that way that we've been getting that knowledge through them. Right? Now coming back at the 10th slok, now which Gyan Bhagavan is talking? That Gyan is Bhagavan is telling is, there's nothing other than him. And if you can understand this, very clearly, and then operate from that, that there's nothing other than him, then the life becomes much more easier. And when he's saying Bijanam, Bijam Ma Sarva Bhutanam, Viddhi Part Sanatanam, Buddhir Buddhi Mata Asmi, Tejas Vedo, Tejas Vinaham. So he says, he's the seed, he's the beach amongst all the Sampurna Bhut, all the living and beings. The bhut is, the beach is his, that's his seed, right? So that's him. Because the tree is what the seed was. So the tree can't exist beside, other than that, if the seed is not there. So eventually the seed is more important. The who's that seed? Bhagwan himself. The other one is a manifestation, or it's an expression, the tree or a human being or whatever it is, you know. And then again in that, you know, in that expression, you find somebody very, very intelligent. Again, that's him, Bhagwan. So then you see Tej, the Tejasvi ka Tej bhi wahi hai. The moment if you can come to that conclusion, realize that, then immediately Rag Dvesh goes off. You know, you stop envying in anybody, and then you start getting more, humble towards God. Okay, look, you know, He's available everywhere. I mean, in me, in Him, everything. You know, then Balam Balvatam Chaham. You know, like the strength is Him only. But if it is in the dharma, you know, if it is in the dharma, so that we've seen from Mahabharata itself. You see Duryodhan, you see Bhim, right? Both were equally strong. But in case of Duryodhan, it was arrogance that I am strong. You know, he never gave the credit to God or Bhagwan. Whereas Bhim would always listen to the instruction given by Bhagwan Krishna, who was their Sakha. Now, Bhagwan was available to both the parties, to Kaurav also and to Mahabharata and Krishna also. See, when he was related to Krishna and Arjuna and the Pandav, similarly, he was related to Kauravas also, because they were again cousins, you know. But still, he did not understand that, and the Pandav understood the thing that Keshav, Madhav, our friend, our Guru, our Bhagwan is the only one who's been guiding us. And then Dharma, see, this is a very good thing. You know, whatever is the desire which is in the guidelines of the Dharma, that's him. No, see, beautifully, you know, I mean, we have had living example, Lokman Tilak's parents, you know, even after getting married, they did not have sex till about 11 years. They had taken a vow that they will have only once and have a kid who will be a Tejasvi child. So they had after 11 years, 11 or 12, and look at the son they got, Lokman Tilak. So, you know, it makes, because in the earlier times, Kama was only for the sake of Bhagwan, otherwise it was not there. Like somebody gave an example of the temples and all. Yes, so whatever creativity, whatever was given, the desire flow through the human being, which came on the part of an art form, whether a sculpture or a temple or a Bharatnatyam or a Sangeet, like, so wherever we have Swami Haridas, Swami Surdas, you know, all those people have been living examples of that. So that we learn from that. The only thing is we have to be very, very clear that when Bhagwan is giving that gyan, tat shunul, therefore listen to that. That is very, very important. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Umesh ji, would you like to share your views?
Hari Om, I think many of the sadhakas have already spoken so well. But one or two points just wanted to, just came to my mind, was about the way Gurudev has explained about how the strong or the balam and the, why it should be, we have to make a difference between a powerful person, his ego to get something, kama, krodha and all this. Very nicely explained. So just whatever is happening around the world, I was just trying to connect. So the war happening in Ukraine, for example, Russia wanting to covet some land, and a group of people, they are actually, fighting against that. And in our culture, if you really see, this particular land has never coveted anybody's land. So in Hinduism, we have seen that all the kings that we have had, obviously we are having wars earlier, but as a nation, we have not coveted anybody's lands, and we have fought for our defense all the time. So I was just trying to connect what this culture is actually teaching us, really. And the second part I just wanted to also talk about was the fact that what is the essential nature of everyone, who comes in this particular world with pure consciousness, and then we have all these vasanas built in, and when we go through our life, we forget that particular true essence. And the definition that has been given here in terms of what we should be, so it's kind of a litmus test for me. That is what I'm thinking. if whatever deed you're doing, whatever work you're doing, if you're comparing and then saying that, okay, is this leading me to a greater thing or taking me closer to the self, that's the kind of test every time, we can put all our actions to, and then decide whether it is the right action or a wrong action. So I think that was one of the thought I came. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Anyone else who wants to participate or share his views and have not invited him or anyone? Actually, there is nothing called invitation. Everybody is free. But just okay. Since there is no other response, I am moving to Sanjay ji. Dr. Jadhav, please.
Hari Om. Tutoring Arjuna, Bhagwan first of all clarified that what I am going to describe, Partha, is my apara prakriti. Apara iyam prakritim me prakriti ita anyam. My para prakriti you cannot understand. My para prakriti is not a subject of understanding. It is a subject of intuitive apprehension. My para prakriti is completely different than whatever you can think with your intelligence. But let me be very clear that along with my para prakriti, my apara prakriti, which is ashtadha prakriti, of which you are made up of, in which you are transacting your business, in which you are playing the role of a kshatriya, as per which you are trying to fight this war, all this is a part of apara prakriti. Now, since you heard from me that my para prakriti is different than apara prakriti, you may get a doubt in your mind that am I residing in this apara prakriti also, or it has no connection with me? Then to stress upon him how para prakriti, avyakta, and apara prakriti, vyakta, the unmanifested yet potential, and the manifested with full potentiality, the Srujanatmaka Vishwa, the creation, the connect between the two is never lost. To emphasize the same thing, he is now, the Lord is now guiding Partha, Bijam Mam Sarva Bhutam. I am the seed, but there is a precondition to that seed. I am Bijam of Sarva Bhutam. So Sarva Bhutam has to exist, then only I am the seed. If Sarva Bhutam is not existing, I am not the seed. Why? Because I am Abhutapurva. I am prior to the manifestation of the seed itself. But now that you are in manifested world, when the manifestation has happened, then for that manifestation, I am the seed. So Bijam Mam, the Dvitiya Samas has come, Karma has come. Bijam Sarva Bhutana. So the sprouting of the entire world. the srujana of the world has essentially been from me. So I am the cause of this effect. When the cause and the effect relationship is studied, which is studied to a great depth in Indian philosophy, the Shastra, there are those who believe that the cause and effect are not related. Effect is a new phenomena keeping no relation whatsoever with the cause. It is called Asakhyativa. And the one which is widely accepted is Sakhyativa, which says that the cause and the effect are closely related to each other. In fact, effect is nothing but cause in a transformed form. And if Lord has transformed itself into a dacoit, our mind starts thinking that how a dacoit can be also having the seed of Lord. A sage or a Rishi or a Muni, one can understand Lord Rama or Sant Jnaneshwar or Ramakrishna Paramahans. Yes, the Lord's bija was there in them. Agreed. This sounds better to the intellect. But how a dacoit, the murderer, the Adolf Hitler, Stalin, they also had the seed of Lord in them? Then how did the Lord behave in two different manners? One for the salvation of the world in the form of Jesus Christ or Narayana or Lord Rama, and in the most detestable manner in the form of Adolf Hitler or anybody who is a tyrant, counts. The fact is, all the bhutas, when they act, and action, karma, is the unwritten, destined thing for everybody who is born. Nahi kaschit kshanam api jatu tishtat. Not even a moment can go without doing karma. If not anything, you will breathe and that will be karma. So being bhuta, bhuta is becoming. Bhuta is becoming. Those who have become, that means those who have manifested as effect, as we all are. The entire universe is nothing else but the effect. The effect, once it is formed, then it has to get into karma. Transacting some kind of business in this creation is essential, inevitable, mandatory part on those who are created. If this is the mandatory part, then how will anybody do karma unless he has three things in him? First of all, he should have a desire to act. There are lots of mangoes lying in front of me, but I don't have desire to eat. The mangoes are virtually useless for me. I will just note them, nothing else. No turmoil, no turbulation, no thought process will happen in the buddhi. So first thing that has to come is desire. But how can desire come unless I have the knowledge that it is a mango? So the first thing is I must perceive the mango, then the desire will come. That means I must have jnana, then the ichha will come. And even if I have jnana of the mango, I have a ichha to have the mango, unless my hands go there and pick up the mango and the teeth start biting and the saliva starts flowing, that means unless there is a action done, Upabhoga cannot be complete. And all karmas presuppose a Vishayi, or Pramata, Pramatru, and the Vishaya. Now, these are three basic things which everyone requires to do, good or bad thing. A dacoit or a thief who wants to steal some money from somebody's house, he has to have the knowledge that there is a money and money is a currency. That means he has the knowledge part of it. What usage he is making of that Jnana Shakti is a different thing altogether. But the very fact that he has a Jnana, ability to perceive and cognize, then he has a desire. Because what is the thief without a desire to steal? And then he has an action part of it, because even if you decide, as it is, we decide so many times in the mind, we have a desire to have money from everybody to me. If that is the case, that means Lord in his apara prakriti as a form of seed exists in these three forms. And since when? Sanatanam. Sanatana meaning Lord after manifesting. What has manifested? The world has manifested. The point at which the world manifested, that is the point when the time manifested. What is ultimately the manifestation of universe? What is it? In one single line, manifestation is nothing but coming into existence of time and space. That's all. Remove time and space, existence cannot be there. The universe cannot be there. All that is contained within the concept of universe is essentially the concept of time and space, nothing else. To exist, you require space. And to be aware of that existence, you should have awareness of the time factor, which shall then put it into past, present, and future, depending upon the evolution of the soul, as the animals do not have trikala, they have only vartamana kala. It is the developed intellect of human being that is able to decipher three indistinct divisions of the time, the past, the present, and the future, which again is essentially relative term within the creation, which is bound by only two strong factors, time and space. Lord says, I am beyond time and space because that is my para prakriti. I'm not talking about it now at all. He's saying, Arjuna, you are in apara prakriti. In that apara prakriti, in this world, you had a question whether to fight or not. So I am telling you that this apara prakriti, which is ashtada prakriti, is actually nothing else but springing from me, borrowing some potentialities of mine. If I am a bija, and that is decided not to sprout, because in pralaya sthana, pralaya kala, I don't sprout, I don't create universe. Then what happens? The seed remains dormant. But the seed doesn't, although the seed remains dormant, its potentialities of creating a tree are still compressed within the seed. In Sankhya Tattva Jnana, this seed is called Prakriti. In Advaita Tattva Jnana, this seed is called Maya, Mahamaya or Mula Maya. Why Mula Maya? The seed is not yet sprouting. It is holding the potentials. So Prakriti is not a substance, but it's in effect a potentiality. When the potentiality is channelized, according to Sankhya Tattva Jnana, the channelization, kinetization of the seed, the potential of creation is in the form of trigunas. So Prakriti's potentiality, gunas are modes of expression. If one goes through the Sankhya Darshanam of Kapila Muni, very aptly commented by Ishwar Chandra Maharaj, which is again the essence of Gaudapada's Sankhya Karika. Bijam mam sarvabhutanam, Partha, once the world has decided to come in existence, because of what? Because of the potentiality existing in whom? The Prakriti or Maya, who stays at my ashraya. I am not Prakriti, I am not Maya. They stay at my shelter. I give ashraya to Maya or Prakriti, who then act as a bij and start sprouting in the form of universe through the modes of trigunas, and it is called bhutam, becoming. So I am the being, this is becoming. Being is seed, becoming is all that we see of nama rupatmaka, the names and the shapes of the different multiplicity of creation, the diversities. However, Arjuna, you need to understand this at the moment only with the help of your intellect. If I give you a dhanushya ban and try to tell you how the arrow goes, you can use the word that avagatam, I understood. But what I am telling is not like that. This is just a contemplation and a thought, mananam. So this I cannot show you, like, look, this is the city, this is how. I'm not going to show you that. I know you are going to take a doubt on me, so I have to show that when I will come to Vishwarupa Darshanam. But right now, you need to understand it with the help of your buddhi. That is why the word vidhi. Vid is to know, dhi is buddhi. Try to understand it through your buddhi, through contemplation or manana. Then, Partha, you will understand Bijam Mam Sarva Bhutanam. Why? Because you have a question. How can dacoit and a saintly person both have Lord in them? And that is because Ichha Shakti, Jnana Shakti, Kriya Shakti, these are my three Shaktis, these are my modes. And I have implanted these modes in everybody. So the thief has a desire to steal the money, a saint has a desire to obtain the mumukshata or moksha. What happened? Both used the desire, that means both used me. Intention, destination, what they want, that is not my concern. Because first of all, they are thinking that, there is a dvait in this world. There is something called money. I am different than the money. I want to enjoy the money. I am the enjoyer. That is their problem. That is why they have these different types of desire. But ab initio, as a basic concept, as a desire, it is me only, residing in everybody. नर नारी में एक विराजे दो दुनिया में दिखे तू, बालक होके रोवन लागे संभलने वाला तू का तू. You say a lady and a gents and a man and sex and a child and these are your variation. From my angle, it is Ichha, Jnana, Karya. Three Shaktis, these are my Shaktis, and my Shakti is my counterpart, my other nature. If you look at my coin, on one side you will see me as a para prakriti. On other side of the coin, I am apara prakriti, where you will see Shakti as my manifestative power of me. I am nothing else but the Lord Mahashiva. Shakti is residing in me. Sometimes she decides to jump out of me and then have this dance of the world. And while dancing also she requires me. So Ardha Nari Nateshwara is my real nature. Now let me tell you, if once you understand I am the seed, in what form I have manifested. Buddhi, buddhir matam asmi. Tejah, tejasvinam aham. What is buddhi? Jnana shakti. Ability to perceive or cognize. The very fact you are able to cognize in this world, that is why you're existing in the world. Otherwise, what is the difference between you and a sleeping giant? In deep sleep, where is your buddhi? It's not existing. Where did you go in the deep sleep? You are simply not in the bhuta form, in the sense that you are not utilizing any of your shaktis. So nothing is existing for you. It's all dark, pitch black. Only when you come to the Jagruta Avastha, immediately you say, I was sleeping, this is my bed, this is my wife, that is my child. That means Jnana Shakti Udaya has happened. That happens only at the finest apparatus given to you in your body called Buddhi, which is a part of the Antakarana. Antakarana being Shuddha Sattvatmaka, I reflect very strongly there because rest of the body is like a wall. Buddhi is like a mirror. So sunlight comes on the wall also, on the mirror also, but mirror reflects, wall doesn't. That is why Buddhi reflects. That is why I am that scintillating ray of cognition which your Buddhi utilizes, by which you are called Buddhi Matam. And you make your opinion as per your Buddhi, Buddhi Matam. And Buddhi is nothing else but Teja Tattva, Agni. Arjuna, in Gayatri Mantra, when we propitiate the Savitru, we say Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. Bhargaha, effulgence. Let the effulgence of the light of yours, O Savitru, let it fill my Antakarana Buddhi, so that I have the same amount of Tej or Agni of the Buddhi, the way Devas have. In fact, that word Dev itself means Diva Dhatu, means enlightened. I want to be enlightened because I am darkened at the present. So when such enlightenment is happening anywhere, could it be just a perception of a subject object, or the even intuitive perception of the Lord? At all these places, the splendor of the Buddhi that you see, because only one who exhibits the scintillating light of the Buddhi is called splendor. It's called pratibha. The word for splendor is pratibha. Again, bha there means jnana. Pratibha. Prakarshena bhati iti. So that is what Arjuna I am. As far as my apara prakriti is concerned, where you all are bhutas, there I act as a seed. That is why Gurudev, in one single statement at the end of the commentary, says, in other words, through the instrument of our intellect, it is the consciousness in us that expresses itself as an intelligent individual. मेरा मुझ में कछु नहीं, जो कछु है तेरा, तेरा तुझको सौंप दूं, क्या लागे है मेरा. Kabir Maharaj says, Mera mujhme kachu nahi means what? In my body, this is all Pancha Mahabhuta. It is same as that dirt lying on the side of the road. You made it an enlivening thing because of your entry in me. And where did that entry happen? Tej or Buddhi. The only difference in the level of evolution in the evolutionary philosophy of the entire world is nothing else but higher and higher achievements of planes of consciousness, or the broader and broader application of consciousness. A human being has broadest possible application of consciousness in comparison with the rest of the evolved world. That is why it is called as the epitome of consciousness expansion. We are in the last stage of a quantum jump of consciousness expansion, which is from Nara to Narayana. Once you understand, Arjuna, this, you can understand Balam Balavatam Cha Aham. Arjuna, you may have the jnana of the things. Oh, this is it, this is it, this is it. And you may have a desire for it. But unless the desire is acted upon, and when you say acted upon, you require karma indriya. When you say, I need to know about the things, you require a jnana indriya. So jnanendriyas are the mediums given for you to exhibit your jnana capacity, while karmendriyas are instruments given to you for fructifying the desire and the knowledge that you have. Even that power of yours, the virya of yours, to execute as per the desire, as per the jnanam, and action for fulfillment is also because of me. The only problem is I have no tenting of kama and raga. Yes, I created this world, you came in this world, but for what? You have forgotten it. Somewhere in the middle of this particular creation, you started thinking that I am different than Lord. After that, the world that you perceived is not my world. See, you had a problem in your eyes, so you started seeing everything foggy. So you had a problem with your eyes. The world is not foggy. In the evolutionary philosophy, in the evolutionary ladder, you brought your ahankar in between, the ego, and the whole look changed. The prism that came in the pure and pristine light ray that I had, you brought the prism of your ahankar and it became a rainbow outside. Now you are feeling everything colored. Then you like a color, dislike a anukula, pratikula bhavana. I am the sheer pure force required to execute anything in the manifested world out of jnana and the ichcha, but not for something or of something. Kama and raga, apraptasya praptir ichcha iti kamaha, no aprapyasya, apraptasya. There's a subtle difference there. Aprapsi, aprapyasya, that means unattainable. Unattainable, you will never desire. That which you feel is attainable, but it is not yet attained. Apraptasya praptir ichcha is kama. Now, after that is obtained, $1 million, apraptasya praptir ichcha. After $1 million comes, the problem is, what if I lose it again? That part comes the rag, developing an affection for what has been obtained. साई से सब होता है, बंदे से कछु नाही, जो कहीं कछु किया तो तुम ही थे मन माही. Kabir Maharaj says. So whatever it comes, साधु इतना दीजिए जामे कुटुंब समाए, मैं भी ना भूखा रहूं, साधु न भूखा जाए. रूखा सूखा खाए के ठंडा पानी पियो, देख पराई चौपड़ी मत ललचायो जियो. मागृध कस्यस्वित् धनम, Ishavasya Upanishad. All this is indicating that the desire, the काम, हजारों ख्वाहिशें ऐसी कि हर ख्वाहिश पे दम निकले, बहुत निकले मेरे अरमा, फिर भी कम निकले. So desire, which leads to an action, is the problem. Swami Ramatirtha, during his early part of sadhana, was trying to get rid of desire and reach the paravairagya, which he eventually reached. So being influenced by Sufi philosophy, because he was staying in Lahore, in his early part, he wrote a beautiful couplet, Chah chuhari chuhari, compared the desire to a rat. चाह चुहारी चूहरी, तू नीचों की भी नीच, जो तू न आती बीच में, मैं तो ब्रह्म था जो तू न आती बीच. I'm a Brahma Swarupa, but because of that rat called desire, I am not able to meet the Brahma Swarupa. I am not able to execute or see the desire in the context of Lord. I am seeing desire in the context of human beings. And when he conquered that desire, he said, Chah miti, chinta miti, manwa be parwah. Jinko kachu nahi chahiye, wahi shahenshah. The king of the kings is the one who doesn't desire anything. Kama raga varjita. Why is king? Because kama raga varjita balam is me. Dharma aviruddho bhuteshu kamosmi. Now this is a very surprising statement. We say no desire, no desire, no desire, and God, Lord himself is saying kamosmi. I am the desire. How do you reconcile this? Dharma avaruddho. Agreed. As per the dharma, if the desire is there, then it is me. How Lord can be desire when he is saying there should be no desire? So should we desire or should we not desire? Is there something called good desire and a bad desire? Desire principally and philosophically is not at all right. Not at all right. But in the desire, there are desires which will increase and fatten the ego. And there are desires which will liquidate the ego. Ramakrishna Paramahansa used to give a very beautiful example. If you have a thorn in your soul and it is pricking, you are having pain, how do you remove it? You take another thorn, remove this thorn, and then throw both the thorns. So is the thorn bad or good? The one which got into the soul and is pricking is bad. But the one which was taken in the hand to remove this one is good. So same thorn can be good or bad. But at the end, both thorns are to be thrown away. In the similar manner, the desire that makes me reach to a point where I can get away with the desire. The desire to become desireless is a good desire. A beautiful statement from a Sufi saint says, "Ye tamanna hai ke azade tamanna rahu." Lord, it's my wish that I should be without the wish. Desireless desire. And what is that? Because that is the one which is going to make me reach to the Lord. That means don't desire dharma avaruddho. Then it will take you closer to the Lord. Then even that dharma avaruddho kamaha also to be taken away. Why? Because you're transcending then apara prakriti and going in para prakriti. In para prakriti, there's no question of desire. Why? When you're one, you cannot desire. For desire, there has to be something else. When you are sarva vyapi vibhu, you can't be having a desire. That is why, as long as you are in apara prakriti, Arjuna, remember dharma avaruddho, dharma aviruddha, don't desire anything. Coveting somebody else's wealth, dharma avaruddha. I should have everything, baki dunya bhar mein gayi, dharma avaruddha. वैष्णव जन तो तेने कहिए पीर पराई जाने रे धर्म as per the dharma. What can we do for so many people? At the end, I also need my money for myself. I cannot be helping everybody. These beggars are beggars. All the philosophy that we give is to protect our own wealth is dharma avaruddha. How do we then understand whether I am doing any desire is as per the dharma or not? Bhagavad Gita always comes to the help. Yajñata padanam 3 things have to be done. Yajna, in the spirit of yajna, do your job. Ask a question to yourself, why am I working? Because on the first I get my salary. Dharma avaruddha. I work because I am a part of this entire universe, and with my work, some people are going to get benefited, and naturally as a saha yajna, I will be getting benefited. Yes, dharma, according to dharma. Dharma anunayai, not dharma aviruddha. And while doing this, sometimes I have to work very hard, and then I sit in the office just to tally the balance sheet. Sometimes it is 9 o'clock in the night, and I start cribbing. I only work very hard. No, no, no. The tapa has gone wrong. Dharma aviruddha tapa. No, no. I worked very hard, and I was very happy that I could share in my company's welfare so nicely without any complaint. Dharma anuyai. I got so much rewarded by the company. I got the money, I got the increment, I got money. Then I made one house. Then I felt that another investment is also not bad. One house in India is also good. Maybe a little bit, when you never know when you will need gold. So some gold in my house. And there was a beautiful diamond. And this is dharma. Where is dhanam? Remember, all the wealth that comes to us is nothing else but the post office department gives lot of money orders in the hand of postman. The postman should not come home with all the money orders. He's supposed to go and dispatch it on those addresses. Lord has given the wealth because we are the postman carriers of the wealth. So the address is always written. We are ignoring it. And then the Lord is going to take away all the money orders back to him, as well as he will rob you of the role of the postman, and you will go into the Tiryak Yoni. A jackal, a rat, a mouse. You are in the human Yoni, Manushya Naradeha, Sarvottamaha. Distribution. Dwara abhito jagatistravantu. Our prayer, Chinmaya prayer, through me, to the world at large. That is why calm, and then this calm also prompts me to do something which I shouldn't be doing. Calm is because I want to appropriate everything so that I can become somebody. I want to become the rich. I want to become the famous. Yasha, kirti, sakta, sampatti, pratishtha. These 5 things are the horses of my desire. A beautifully one Sufi saint has said, मैं यूं होता तो क्या होता, मैं वो होता तो क्या होता, डुबोया मुझको मेरे होने ने, मैं कुछ भी नहीं होता तो क्या होता. The desire does all this. That is why Arjuna, Bharatarshabha, you are Bharatarshabha. You are from the land of knowledge. That land of knowledge called Bharat these days, where hardly knowledgeable people are seen, unfortunately. That pious land of Bharata, from there you have come. You are best against in that. Bharata Arshabha. That is why I am telling you, Dharma Viruddha Bhuteshu Kamaha Asmi. So if any time you do any desire, and if that desire is as per what Dharma says, Dharma means law of being, Gurudeva has described. It is an absolutely well thought, smallest ever definition of religion. Law of being. Being means one who is born. All right. Then what about me? I'm also born, so I'm also doing dharma. No, we are doing or following law of becoming. Law of becoming is adharma. Law of being, dharma. Law of being is natural to you. Ask a mother when she feeds her newly born baby. Ask her, what is your desire? She said, no desire. My baby is drinking milk. What desire is there? What desire you're talking about? My only desire is to feed my baby. Feed my baby so that she can look after me in the childhood when I will grow old. No, she never thinks of it. Natural desire to feed the baby is a desire which is as per the dharma, while the desire to do something so that for so and so, becoming, being and becoming, dharma and adharma. That is why dharma According to dharma, the desire is my own Shakti. Otherwise, this will not sustain. You should feel like going. And what is your dharma? Feeding the animals, watering the plants, not plucking the leaves of the plants because it will pain them. If your nails are plucked, it will pain you. Just because you have power doesn't mean you can pluck them, because the plant also at its level has consciousness in it. Naneshwar Maharaj says that a yogi does not even raise his hand because the nails of his hand might tear the sky, the space. Look at the definition of ahimsa, which is a part of Yama Niyama. So with all this is nothing else but me. Now, do you understand, Arjuna, why I say I am the Bijam? If you look from this angle, then you will have a final statement. You will be in the world, you will enjoy the world, but you will not be doing anything disturbing in the world. Duniya mein hoon, duniya ka talabgar nahi hoon. दुनिया में हूं, दुनिया का तलबगार नहीं हूं, बाजार से गुजरा हूं, खरीदार नहीं हूं. Lord has created this for Rasa Leela, and we have converted into Virasa Leela. That is the meaning of the two shlokas. Hari Om.
Hari Om. So, Kumarji, the closing prayers, please.
Yeah. Hari Om. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामय, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्. असतो मा सद्गमय, तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय, मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय. ओम शांति शांति शांति. हरिः ओम. श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः. हरिः ओम. Let us take our pledge now. We stand as one family, bound to each other with love and respect. We serve as an army, courageous and disciplined, ever ready to fight against all low tendencies and false values within and without us. We live honestly the noble life of sacrifice and service, producing more than what we consume and giving more than what we take. We seize the Lord's grace, keep us on the path of virtue, courage, and wisdom. May thy grace and blessings flow through us to the world around us. We believe that the service of our country is the service of the Lord of Lords, and devotion to the people is the devotion to the Supreme Self. We know our responsibilities, give us the ability and courage to fulfill them. Om Tat Sat.
Om Tat Sat. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Hari Om.
Hari Om.